The order did not come with hesitation. It came with certainty. Advance. Hold the line. Take the position. The cost was not discussed. It never was. Throughout World War II, countless battles were fought not because they were necessary, but because they were ordered. Men were sent forward into terrain that favored the enemy, under conditions that made survival unlikely, all in the name of momentum, pressure, or pride. Some of these battles changed nothing, but they took everything. Far from the grand strategies drawn on maps, soldiers on the ground understood the truth quickly. The objective ahead was heavily defended. The ground offered no cover. Artillery was relentless, and yet the orders remained unchanged. In many cases, commanders believed that persistence alone would break the enemy, that if enough men advanced, resistance would collapse. What followed instead was attrition, wave after wave of infantry walking into fire. Positions taken, lost, and taken again. Entire units reduced to fragments. Survivors later described the feeling of inevitability, not fear of the enemy, but certainty of loss. They advanced, knowing that nothing ahead justified the sacrifice. The battlefield became a place where courage no longer meant victory, only endurance. Terrain amplified every mistake. Hills turned into killing grounds. Forests trapped movement. Mud swallowed vehicles and wounded alike. Rivers slowed advances long enough for defenses to recover. Each step forward cost lives, and each gain was measured in meters, not miles. Reports from the front often painted these operations as progress. Maps showed arrows moving forward. Lines shifted slightly. But behind those symbols were bodies, thousands of them. Men who followed orders and paid with their lives for objectives that would later be abandoned. In some battles, positions were captured at enormous cost, only to be deemed strategically irrelevant weeks later. Ground soaked with blood was quietly given up, its defenders gone, replaced by silence. History moved on, but the dead remained. Letters written during these campaigns reveal a growing awareness among soldiers. They wrote not of heroism, but of confusion, of orders that made no sense, of advancing simply because stopping was not permitted. Many questioned why they were there at all. Medical units struggled to cope with the scale of casualties. Wounded men lay exposed for hours. Evacuation routes were under fire. Supplies ran short. In these moments, the idea of victory felt distant, almost meaningless. Psychological exhaustion became as deadly as bullets. Men stopped believing their lives had value beyond the next order. Some broke under the pressure, others went numb, functioning only because stopping meant death anyway. These battles were rarely remembered with pride. There were no parades for them, no monuments raised in their names. They existed in after-action reports and casualty lists, not in speeches. Historians later debated their necessity. Some argued they fixed enemy forces in place. Others admitted the truth more quietly. The losses far outweighed the gains. The decisions were flawed. The cost was catastrophic. But for the men who fought, the debate came too late. They did what they were told. They advanced when ordered. They died where they stood. War often celebrates success. It rarely dwells on waste, on battles that achieved nothing measurable, on sacrifices that did not change the outcome. Yet these moments reveal the harshest truth of all. In war, obedience can be more dangerous than resistance. The battle that never needed to happen is not one place or one date. It is a pattern repeated across the war. A reminder that victory on paper can still be failure in human terms. Ashes of War exists to tell these stories, not of triumph, but of cost, not of glory, but of consequence. If you want to uncover more forgotten truths of World War II, subscribe to Ashes of War, because some battles should never be forgotten, especially the ones that should never have happened.